Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. So we're going to start out doing our Christmas junk journal. Mine is going to be themed a little in the Victorian period, and I'm going to use a bunch of French things. So I'm calling it French Victorian Christmas Journal, and we're going to start that process today. I know not all of you will have your kit yet, but these videos will stay up on my channel for forever. So you can start off today if you don't have a kit by like making a master board or working on ephemera. And then when you get the kit, if you need to come back and watch this video again, it will be here on the channel for you for forever. And then for those of you that have a kit, what I'm going to be focusing on today is starting work on the cover. I might work on assembling a signature, and then I am going to work on ephemera just because I know that I want to sew around my sew around my cover after I get my cover done. Hopefully I said that correct. I'm going to sew around my cover after I get my cover put together. The cover is going to be having fabric on the top of it. So instead of like a paper covered cover, we're going to use fabric. And anytime I use fabric, I like to sew around it just because I feel like it finishes it off nicely. And it also prevents it from fraying as much. If you like the fray look, then, by all means, don't sew around it. But if you want to sew, then you're going to have to do it when you have your sewing machine in front of you. And in this room, I don't have a sewing machine. So I will take my cover across the hall and sew it at some point when we get there. Good morning. Good morning, Jerry. Good morning, Shelly and Debbie and Ria. Thanks so much for joining. So yeah, just a relaxed craft with me this morning. I'm in my PJs. I woke up like, I don't know, an hour and a half ago, and I tried to gather some basic supplies. So everything I'm using today is very basic. I'm going to be using some Italian Florentine paper, some rag paper book pages. So if you have any type of, book page that you want to start using as like a pocket base, that's what I'm going to be using mine for. And I'll kind of walk you through and show you everything that I do today, obviously, because it's a craft with me. And then we'll get started here in just a few minutes. Oh gosh, guys, I am tired. I think it's obvious that I'm tired. Well, it is 9 o'clock in the morning here on Saturday. I know for lots of you it is 11 o'clock in the morning, but for me here it's 9 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't get to bed until after 1 last night. So hopefully, hopefully I can drink some coffee after this is over and get on with my day. I'm going to pack the Italian paper, the large sheets of Italian paper today. That's my goal, is to have those packed and invoiced. Invoicing might be tomorrow, but packed today. Good morning, Pam. Good morning, Faith Ann. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Misty. Okay, let's get started. I don't have a whole lot of chit-chat because I've been chit-chatting with you guys for 5 days now. Let me go ahead and switch the camera and we will get started. I mean, I can talk forever. However, I do run out of subjects. Okay, so we are going to... These are the Italian Florentine papers that I have cut down. These ones have already been cut down into a manageable size. And I just picked out a whole bunch of Christmas patterns. So I'm going to be using those. Most of you guys have some Florentine paper to play with. However, I will be packing that last order of Florentine paper today. But anyway, so a whole bunch of Christmas pattern Florentine paper. Mostly I'm going to use that for decorating. And then let me move that so it doesn't fall. And then I have a bunch of leftover. All of these right here are leftover printed digital Christmas pages. And so I am going to try to use, obviously not all of these because there's duplicates, but I'm going to try to use some of these because I've already printed them. I've already done the, the printing and the laying out and everything like that. So I might as well go ahead and try to work some of those into the journal. Those are like going to be journal pages. And then I have this sheet of eco-dyed paper, so I'll try to use that. These came in your kit. They are for embellishing or decorating. We'll try to put some of these on some ephemera. And then for the kit parts, there was lace. There's supposed to be another piece of lace. I don't know where the other piece is. Oh, right there. So we have some gold lace. We have some gold and burgundy fabric, and we have a big piece of like white creamy colored lace, and a big piece, this is forest green. I try to get the camera to show it. It's forest green. And so we have lovely Victorian Christmas colors, and these fabrics are what I want to start working with on my cover. And then there were a whole bunch of other things in the kit. I don't have the full kit in here because I cannot find mine, but I pulled out some of the pieces from the kit. And so I'm going to be putting in some rag paper book pages, some printed digitals, some original documents like ledgers or handwritten pages in the kit or in the journal. And so that's kind of how I'm going to build my signature, with some digital printed pages, with some rag paper book pages, with, you know, ledger and handwritten original authentic items. And then, you know, I usually put in some coffee dyed paper and stuff like that, so there's writing space. This is the piece of cardstock. It's the watercolor cardstock that came in your kit. This is what my base of my journal is going to be constructed on. And I use this one specifically because it is super thick watercolor cardstock. I like the watercolor texture on it. I feel like it is very, very durable. So this is the base for my journal cover. And then in here, I just have random Christmas crafting things. We used some of these to make a masterboard a couple of weeks ago. So I have those. I do have some Tim Holtz things in here, more Florentine paper things. These things were what we, let me set this up here. These things were what we did with our masterboard last time. These Tim Holtz things will be for another project. And then these things right here were the things that we made from masterboards a couple of weeks ago. So we had a craft with me session, and I made Christmas masterboards, and then we did make some finished pieces of ephemera as well. And so all of this, these are the finished ones we did in the past. This is the kind of thing I'm working on today with ephemera. I can obviously decorate up, you know, a whole bunch of these pieces. But if you haven't made a masterboard, I would probably start, like if you're not going to work on your cover today, I would probably start by making a Christmas masterboard. You can use any type of Christmas pattern paper, Christmas colored paper, whatever you want to use, with mix in some neutral colors, some, you know, book page, music paper, handwritten paper, and then just collage a big sheet of it all together and then cut it up. And then that's where you get all these bases. These are all going to be used as tags or journal cards or belly bands, pockets, all kinds of things. I did several different styles. Reason being, these ones that are more Italian Florentine paper, they're going to be used in this journal. And these ones are going to be used in one of those cloth covered, the magic cover journals that I made for you guys and you guys just purchased. So I have bases done for all of that too. Okay. And then after that, we're going to work on some book page pockets. And then, so we'll make our cover. We'll work on our cover. And then maybe I'll start assembling the signature. And then I will make some book page pockets. So in your kit, you also got one of these French Victorian fashion magazines. I'm going to be cutting out the ladies from that and using those to decorate some of my ephemera with today. And then this is just the inside cover from one of those books. More Florentine scraps. So if I have all these Florentine scraps, I don't need those big ones I brought in. Good to know. When you go through your pile, you find all kinds of crazy things. And then this is stuff that we were playing with the other day. And all my, not all, but some of my Christmas German scrap. There's all kinds of things in this pile, apparently. Let me move these little bases out of the way and let's get started. So we can put that right there. It's a little bit in camera. Let me move it to behind me. I need all the space I can get here. The room is still very full of things. All right, so This is a piece of parchment paper. This is what I use to glue on instead of book page. I don't like to use book page. I really started using this and love gluing on this. You can glue on it forever and it doesn't get sticky or too messy. The first thing I want to do before we get started with the cover is I want to prep what I'm going to make pockets out of today. So for me, I want to make pockets, not all of my pockets, obviously, because I like a variety of different things, right? But the first thing I want to do is I want to find some book page that I like. Some either rag paper, regular paper, whatever it is that you want to use, but these, we will glue 2 of them together to add thickness and strength. So we're going to glue stick the entire sheet and glue 2 together and then set it aside to dry. When it's dry, we will then make pockets out of these pages. So basically you're making yourself a very nice thick piece of book page. And then from there, you will construct a pocket. Okie doke. How is everyone today? Are you guys tired? Some of you stayed very, very late with me last night. It was like the longest live ever. Okay, so we're just gonna glue these together. Very simple, but very, very pretty pockets in the end. This glue stick hasn't been used in a couple of weeks and it's definitely getting dry. Okay, so just get that good and glued and then pop your other one on top. If you have a folio, you don't have to worry about lining up as much. And in the end, you know, we cut it down anyway to the size of a pocket. So you don't have to worry about it too terribly much being exactly even. And then you just take this whole piece. Right now it's fairly wet. Take this whole piece and set it aside to dry. And then we're going to do a couple more, just so we have something fun to play with. These ones are German and I love the font on these. Love it. These are antique rag paper, German paper. And they have a beautiful font. And then I'm going to use some French ones. This is just a nice basic method of making some really antique looking pockets, because anytime you start out with the base being rag paper, you end up with a beautiful original, you know, antique paper that is also sturdy for pockets. So you don't really need to do too much aging after you've, you know, finished your pocket. I have some dictionary page. Some of these pages are super thick to start with. We'll just do one of these. And so I generally start when I'm gluing 2 things together by going all the way around the sides and then I fill in the middle. And when you're gluing 2 things together, you need to make sure that you glue the entire thing, because if you leave a little spot that does not have glue, it creates a bubble, a pocket where air is trapped in between. And that bubble, you know, you can feel it, you can see it. It really looks better when you make sure that you get glue throughout the whole entire thing. So I know glue stick can be expensive. You don't want to really skip on that part of it. There was some glue there and some leather from where I took this page out. So we'll set that one to dry. And then let's just do some regular rag paper. Oh, I thought I was going to get rid of my crumbs. The one thing I don't have over here is a baby wipe. Okay, so regular rag paper. Let's see what this book was. This book was this from 1807. So the earlier the book, obviously, usually the better the rag paper. I'm going to do a couple of these. I like, and if I'll show you here, when these are dry, I'll show you too. But I like to use different colors of rag paper pages. And that way, all of my pockets, like they're not exactly from the same book. They don't all have the same look starting out. When you use from different books, you have more options. And then we'll get these glued. And then while we're working on our cover, they will dry. And when you glue two pieces of rag paper together, it's really strong, really durable. I think we're good there. I've got glue everywhere. This glue stick is really messy at the moment. And just smooth it out and set it to dry. And glue over here. I'm going to need to get up and get a baby wipe. Everything's sticking to my fingers because my fingers are sticky. Okay. This is the last one, I think we're going to glue. And you want to make sure you get your glue all the way to the edge. We're going to cut it, so if you didn't, it's okay. But you just don't want your pocket to come apart. And you don't want that to happen either. But it's the end of this yucky glue stick. Let's throw it. Let's start over. Hopefully this one's still blue. I find when they're white, they kind of, I don't know, they don't act the same. They've dried out a little bit or something happened. And see, then we're going to get super wet. Yuck. I'm having a glue stick issue today. I will try to save this page. I'm trying. Okay, here we go. So, stick two together. That little piece that's torn, I will probably end up cutting that portion off anyway. So it's okay. There's that one. I keep dumping this in my trash can, or attempting to dump it in my trash can. And that little piece of paper. Okay. There we go. What other book do I have over here? So I think we're good with those three. And then, what is this guy? This guy, he's pretty much the same as the other one. I can do without him. But anyway, just find some rag paper books. A lot of you guys have them coming to you, so they should be here soon or be there to you soon. But if you don't have any, just find some kind of sturdy book page that you feel like you can glue two together on, and that they won't tear easy, and they're firm when they're dry. Okay? I'm going to need my water cup close today. All right. After we do that, let me set this to the side too. And let's work on kind of setting up our cover. So the first thing that I need to do, and I didn't bring it in here, is score down the center of this. This is a very thick, sturdy piece of cardstock, watercolor cardstock. And so if you try to fold it just like this, like it's snapped out, it's gonna fold, but you're not gonna get an exact, precise line down the center of it to fold. And so while I don't have my scoreboard in here, what I do have is the Tim Holtz cutter. So if you don't have a scoreboard, but you have any type of cutter that is like this, like the Tim Holtz one comes with a scoring blade. I'm not going to use that. I don't have it in here. But if you have any type of cutter that has a groove in it, like this one has a groove right here, it needs cleaned, but it does have a groove right here. Anything with a groove in it like this, you'll be able to score in. It's not ideal. I would definitely prefer having my scoreboard, but my scoreboard is across the hall. And while I probably will get up at some point today to go grab something, what I do have is a bone folder and this groove. So I'm going to attempt to use this groove, follow it down through with my bone folder. And as long as I haven't moved, we should be good. I'm going to give it a couple of scores. I've scored a line down the center of it. And now when I fold, we should be okay. And so at least now I have a nice straight fold. If you just take your cardstock and go over, it's going to want to bend weird over here because it is such thick cardstock, okay? So if you don't have a scoreboard and something needs a scoreboard, anything with this groove will work. Let me set that over there. So now I have the base of my cover. You can go over it with the thing if you want, but we're going to cover it with fabric and stuff. It's probably not going to matter too much. But this is the base. I'm making a 9x6 journal. This piece of cardstock is 12 by 9 by 12. So I have 9 inches this way and I have 6 inches this way. So I'm making a 9x6 journal cover. So all I want is that score to be in there before I put everything else on. Because if you put all your fabric on and you get it all glued and you get it all sewed and then you go to bend it, I guarantee you it is not going to make a nice straight crease right here. That's why I put that score line in first before I do anything else. And then we have our fabrics that we can play with. Now, you don't have to just put fabric on here or fabric and lace. You can mix paper and fabric together. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I haven't planned it out. I'm doing it live for the first time right here with you guys. But usually I mix in fabric and lace. I don't know, not always, but we can just play with this and see what we come up with together. Obviously, we'll put lace on at the end to decorate with. So you could mix in several different pieces here. It doesn't have to be where the whole entire front is green or the whole entire front is red. It doesn't have to be like that. I did give you some, larger cuts of fabric, and so you can see for this one, if you want to do it like this, where you're going to wrap in, I have book page everywhere. If you want to wrap in your edges, I did give you a nice large piece so that at least, you could cover your edges. I don't know if the red one will necessarily, but I know that the green one will. So if you want to wrap in your edges to cover, you can certainly do that. And I probably will do that just to make sure that we've got a nice finish on the front, that your edges of your cardstock will be finished. And then also around this, whenever I get the fabric part of it all laid on there and glued. For gluing this, you can use Fabri-Tac. I'll just caution you that any time that you are gluing fabric with a wet glue, less glue is more, because you don't want your glue to seep through your fabric. There's nothing worse than, gluing up your cardstock, putting your fabric on, and then smoothing out your fabric to find that your glue has all come up through the fabric. That's, it's a certain look that if you didn't intend for that look, then you will probably are going to be very unhappy. So less is more. If you're going to sew around the edge of your cover, you may get away with just tacking on your fabric with glue stick until you take it to the sewing machine and then sew around that. If you're going to sew in anything in your sewing machine, it doesn't matter whether, it's a cover, a tag, whatever. If you're going to take something to your sewing machine that you've used glue stick on, wet glue, any type of glue, sticky, tape, stickers, anything, make sure that it is very, very dry before you take it to your sewing machine. Please don't ever take something that has wet glue stick or wet glue and try to sew through it, because while it might work okay while you sewed through it, what ends up happening is your needle gets all glued up, and then that needle, from moving through all the sewing machine parts, transfers glue and stickiness to other places, and you don't want that. You will ruin your sewing machine. At a very minimum, you will have to take it in for maintenance or replace your needle or something like that. Just avoid the headache and make sure if you're sewing something on your sewing machine that you have glued, that it is very dry. I mean, like sew the next day kind of dry, very dry. You might get away with it, but I just would not risk it if I was you. So anyway, we could wrap the green one around. That's a good plan. And it might be like the inside cover, and I might use this one on the outside cover. The red one, definitely, it's big enough to cover it. Let's see. Looks like maybe we could wrap the red one too. I kind of like the red one, frays an awful lot, and I kind of like that, the little frayed edge. I kind of like. I don't want it to fray continually, which is why I will sew around, because then I will still be able to keep the little fray that's there. But if I sew around it, it will stop it from just fraying unto nothing. You know what I mean? So I might put the red one on the front. The red one on the front. Maybe we'll wrap the green one first and then put the red one on the front. And I can kind of size it. We're just going to have to play together. We're just going to have to figure it out. Because I have a vision in my head, but, I haven't actually done it. And when you cut off your strings like this, I have been saving these to use as little embellishments, like behind tags and whatever. So don't throw your strings away. I mean, you can, but... So let's see. I'm going to do the green on the inside, I think. Now you could, what I was talking about before, like after you wrap your green around, you could layer your fabrics. So there's a large enough piece of this guy where he can go on the top of like a green or a red fabric. So you could layer them so that you have, something showing through the white lace. You could definitely do that. You could, instead of using just one color on the front, you could layer up several pieces on the front and then use a paper for the inside of your cover. So maybe I would cut this and I would put a piece of it on the cover. You could definitely do something like that so that you get the whole, burgundy, green, and cream. I think you'd want a different angle, but you could definitely do something like that. So here, it doesn't really matter whether it's smooth or straight or whatever. I'm going to add a focal point to my front cover. I just am looking for some texture and some different fabrics. I think because I have those gold pieces of lace, I think I am okay with just doing the red on the front. Now, for the inside, I'm going to use the green. And I don't want all of this extra fabric here. So I'm going to trim my fabric down a little bit. Now trim my fabric down a little bit. I don't want all of that. And that gave me a nice little ribbon of green fabric left over. So we can save that and do something with it. To tear your fabric, you just want to do a little snip. If you've never torn fabric before, just do a little snip. Put your scissors straight and do a little snip and get it about, half an inch, 3/4 an inch, whatever, and then tear it. And usually, and not all fabric tears straight, but if it's a quilting cotton, it will generally always tear straight. But okay, so here's the inside of my cover. I'm going to make sure that the inside of my cover is face down because I've got the wrong side of my green face up. So the wrong side of my green fabric and the inside cover here on the inside. This is the outside cover. And I'm going to wrap this green around to the outside. Now, I could do it the other way where I wrap the red fabric around, but I think I'm going to wrap this green one around, and then maybe I'll size the red one to where I can see some of that fringe. So now I've got, you know, a pretty even, I still have a little bit much, but I've got a pretty even, you know, fold line where I'm going to fold in all of this and glue it. I do want to glue the inside. You can use whatever glue you want. I actually did not bring Fabri-Tac in here, so I'm going to go grab it. But for me, for right now, I'm going to glue stick this. I have Uhu glue sticks, and as long as I am thorough, I'm going to glue just the inside part, and then I will definitely use a stronger glue around the outside edge. But just to hold the fabric, and this is the watercolor cardstock, so it has that texture to it, and that texture holds a lot of glue. So yes, you will, you know, eat up a bit of your glue stick, but it's glue that's going to hold this fabric while I am gluing around the edge. Hopefully I didn't get too much there. So I'm just going to glue stick this, and this is what's going to hold the green fabric in place on the inside cover, and then I will use a stronger glue around the edge. And so for this one, you're just wanting to over glue this. If you have the what is it called? A fabric glue stick, that will work too. That will work better. But Uhu is pretty strong. It's permanent, and I think it will hold the fabric just fine. Specifically because I'm going to glue the outer edge and sew around it. But this is more to keep that air pocket out of your fabric. So if you didn't put any glue on the inside, you're going to end up with a bubble of fabric that is movable and flexible, and I don't really like that look. So for me, I want to make sure everything is glued down securely. So this is the November Junk Journal kit, and we are just now working on it in December. And so because we've only got, you know, moisture to one side of this, it is definitely given us some curl. That's okay. And we're just going to smooth that down. Just give it a minute. When we get some moisture on the other side of our cardstock, it will cease to be this curly. So I'm just going around the edge with my fingers, pressing that in, and you want to press firmly to get that fabric to stick in there. Okay, there's that part of it. All my glue bits. Okay, then from there, I'm going to want to go get some kind of firm, honestly, it's going to be covered, so I'm just going to use art glitter because that's what I've got in here. But you could use Fabri-Tac. Just if you use Fabri-Tac, make sure that you smooth it. Use a little bit, don't use too much. Smooth it out with your finger as you go. Maybe I will go get the Fabri-Tac. Let me go get it. There's not a whole lot of art glitter in my bottle anyway. I have a beautiful new bottle of Fabri-Tac. And I brought the baby wipes. So I love opening new bottles of glue. So much better than old bottles of glue. The end of a Fabri-Tac bottle is not my favorite. It behaves very badly, in my opinion. Okay. I got that part off. Yuck. And for the Fabri-Tac, we're going to want to not have those over here. Let me bring this guy back. A thin bead, and then smooth it out with your finger. Before we do the glue part, I just want to trim these corners so that when I fold them in, see, if I fold it like this and have to fold, if I don't trim this corner right here, when you fold it and then fold this one, you then have a bunch of fabric right here. I want to thin out some of that fabric so that it is not so bulky. And to do that, you just take off a corner. You just cut diagonally. I didn't cut straight up to the cardstock. I left a little bit there. I didn't trim flush with that point. There's a little bit of fabric there. Just trim your corners like that. It's not meant to be precise or exact or anything like that. It's just kind of taking out some of that fabric bulk when you fold in your corners. You can save those, maybe use them for some cluster little bits with lace later. So to begin with, let's get this big wide one down. And so I'm going to put a little bead of glue here. And then I'm going to take a little bit more. I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to smooth this out. While this will not show on the front side of my cover, I just want to make sure that I don't get that bead that's going to seep through. So when I'm smoothing, I'm, kind of evening out the glue, and hopefully then it doesn't go through my fabric too much. So pull your fabric tight on the edge and push it down. Roll it in with your fingers and push forward. Roll it in and push forward. Then smooth that. And you should have a nice tight edge right here. Don't leave any gap unless that's the look you're looking for, but press that in. And that held it pretty nicely. And then we're going to go to this side. And you just work your way around, paying attention to, if you have this much fabric, don't put your glue too high. Don't put it too close either, because you want to be able to smooth it. But if you have a 1/2 inch of fabric, don't put your glue 2 inches in. Put your glue, where it's going to go. So we're going to smooth this one a little bit more. And then we're going to fold this one tight in. So pulling up on it and pushing up with your fingers. And then that created a nice corner right here for us. And then that's good. And work your way all the way around. How's everybody doing out there? Who's going to do Christmas shopping this weekend? Who still has Christmas shopping to do, and who is done? I still have some Christmas shopping to do. They're things that I need to purchase online for the most part, but I do need to do a little in-person Christmas shopping still. It really is, Misty. It really is. And so then I'm going to do this one. And if you noticed, I did glue all the way end to end every time. And that was so that my corners had a little extra glue. Actually need a little more here too. The whiter my fabric, the more glue I used. But if you were to use, if you were to use a lighter fabric specifically, it'll seep through this one too. But if you didn't smooth it with your fingers, you're going to see that glue line. Fabri-Tac does that. Even though it's meant for fabric, if you don't smooth out the glue, you will get that bead of glue line. There's nothing worse than gluing on a piece of beautiful, fabric or something to a cover and then having your glue line show through. Okay, so there's that. It looks like this on this side. Other than having some lint and some glue things on it, it's good. There's the inside. That will be the inside of my cover. It is just this mottled green, nice tight edges, tight corners, and that's that. Now we need to work on the inside, or the front. I'm sorry. I have sticky fingers. So for the front, I'm going to put the red fabric on. And a lot of people would have rather wrapped their red to the back. Excuse me. My voice is still tired. A lot of people would have rather wrapped their red to the back. I just thought maybe I would play with that fraying and see how that looks. We'll see. We'll see if I enjoy it. Worst case scenario, you don't like one side of your cover. I got to get this glue off my finger. If you don't like one side of your cover, you can turn it around to put it on the inside. You could scrap that and start all over. There's never the end of the world if something happens. You always can just start again, worst case scenario. It's just a little bit of fabric, and paper. It's okay. This glue is driving me crazy. All right. Look. For this one, I don't want to overhang it, because if you overhang and you wrap it this way, then you're wrapping into your back cover, right? So I don't want to wrap it this way. I mean, it actually kind of looks cool. See what I mean with the fray edge though? This one frays very, very much. So I don't want to wrap it to the inside, although that definitely would be a look. What I want to do with it, unless I decide, hey, I like this so much. No, I'm going to put it on this side. However, I don't have to go all the way to the edge, and I want some of that fray look to show. So I'm going to size my piece of red fabric nearly to the edge, but not quite to the edge, because I want to see this fray look. And then I've got my green, because we wrapped it, I've got my green to show through. Something like this. Yes, it will be fiddly to get it exactly perfect. However, I'm up for the challenge, I guess. So this one also, because, it's not really like for quilting or anything like that. It's a different kind of fabric. So I'm going to try my best to position it and then cut it. So we're just going to go for it. In worst case scenario, I change my mind, but we're just going to go for it. So I'm going to do it right here. That was a hard one to tear. And I got another scrap. And because this one has the Lurex thread through it, it does kind of bunch when you tear it. It's fine. Just straighten it back out. My voice is still very tired. Okay, so we ended up with that, which I think is good. And then I need to do the, let's see, I need to do the height. Let's just snip. I'm just looking underneath and snipping. And I don't want it to be exact perfect. I want some green to show, so it's okay. Whatever we get is going to be okay. And I have another strip where I can play with that later. So oh, Pam, hope you feel better. Okay, here we go. We ended up with this. Now, this is a pretty thin fabric. When I glue this one on, I'm going to need to be careful. I would prefer it to be a little more square. So let me see if I can square it up a little bit. So we're good there. And we're about good there. I'm going to do a little trimming, I think. Right in this area. I'm just eyeballing it. You guys, you know, you can measure, you can do all those things. Okay. And as long as you cut it, it's going to fray. So if I want to fray this before I glue it down, I'm just taking my fingernail and kind of pulling it. If you had your pokey tool in here, your pokey tool, you could poke out a couple of threads and, you know, then pull them and you will get a nice fray. But a fingernail works too. And then just pull the thread. Okay. Let's glue this one down. I'm happier with that. I want a fray, messy look. I don't want anything too perfect. I would prefer if it was a little square, but that part might drive me crazy. Now, before I glue this, we have options. You can take a piece of lace and put it underneath in between the two layers so that you have lace sticking out of your coverage. You could do that all the way around if you wanted to do that. You could do lace at the bottom where the lace is, you know, just in between your layers sticking out of your cover. So there's options before you sandwich everything together. Once you sandwich it, then you have to put your lace on top, right? And that's, you know, that's okay too. It's just a different look when you don't see this line right here because you've sandwiched it. And so I'm wondering if I want to sandwich some lace in on the front and back edge, just so it's kind of poking out there. And so I'm wondering about that. This may not be exactly the lace. I don't know, but I'm just kind of playing with it. I think maybe we're going to go without. And you know, it's just a personal preference. I don't know. The thought occurred to me, so I thought I would play with it before I glued it down and locked myself in. And then I've got this piece. This piece, you know, you can use it for anything. You don't even have to use it in this project. You don't ever have to use anything specific in these projects. But I know that on the cover, I'm going to have a piece of lace underneath my focal point. So I'm not going to use it right now, but you could have put it on the inside cover if you cut off. Some of them had a border piece like this one. You could cut a piece of this lace to be used as a pocket on the inside in here at the bottom. So I don't know how to show you. You just cut a piece of lace that is deep enough to be a pocket right here. So cut it off to there. And then you'd have a pocket on the inside of your cover. I'm going to do pockets on the inside, and I will add a piece of lace before I sew around it, and those will be my inside pockets. But I'm not going to have to glue anything or whatever right now. When I do mine, I'm literally going to cut a piece of lace, and it's probably going to be this one. I'm going to cut a piece of lace. Just make it about, 4 inches or so, 4 inches deep. And then I'm just going to clip mine on and then take it to the sewing machine when I sew around my cover. And then I will have this lace pocket on the inside, and I will have some kind of scallopy lace poking out of the bottom. Don't know if I'll use this one. I probably will, but not for certain. But that's a pocket on the inside. Let's go ahead and glue this one now that I've messed it up several times. So we're just going to do the same thing we did before, where we add glue stick on the inside part of it. And that's just to hold the fabric. Just to hold that fabric down. If I can catch the edge of this, all the better. Don't leave any spots where you don't have glue. I overglue my covers. I overglue usually in general. Like, be careful with the liquid glue with fabric. But, I sell my journals, and I would rather they be overbuilt than having them fall apart on people. So I definitely, I'm generous with my glue stick. Now, you don't really have to do that much because you are, I'm going to sew around it. But like I said, I just would rather they be overbuilt for the people buying them than falling apart. So I'm not only going to make one of these Christmas journals this time because we have the other Christmas journal projects to do. So normally I would be making 3 at the same time. Today, this time for this journal kit, I am only making one of these French Victorian Christmas journals. It may already be spoken for. I'm not sure. We'll have to check, but I'll let you guys know, I guess, or you can reach out to me, but this one might be already spoken for. Let's go ahead and put our red fabric on. I am going to glue first, but I just want to put it on. Yeah, I am going to put it on. So just position it, and then I'm going to come in with Fabri-Tac here in a minute. Position it, smoothing up and out. And hopefully we got what we wanted. I can see we are a little too long still. That's okay because this fabric frays so much. It's fixable. It's all right. It's good. Smooth that on. But see, because you probably can't, but because we did glue stick, we have a very, very smooth, nice surface. There's no bubbles. The fabric isn't going to move on me. All good. Now I am going to put Fabri-Tac around the edge. But before I do that, I want to make sure that the edge is exactly where I want it to be and showing the green fabric exactly right. So I ended up with something that looks like that at the bottom. I just want to even out this one and make sure that it is the same. So I don't have glue to my edge yet. I don't have glue to my edge. I just have glue stick in the center. And we're going to glue those edges. But before we do, I'm going to even this out. Now, you can just fray it more, and that will probably give you the same look. But I'm going to trim it and then fray it more. And then from here, take your fingernail and fray it, or your pokey tool, whatever you prefer. And your edges don't have to be perfectly even. You know, this is supposed to be a fray messy look. The fray messy look is good. It needs to be more frayed. Here we go. And then I'm going to come in and glue that down. And then over here, we're going to do the same. This one's pretty good. I'm just going to trim a little tiny bit right here. And then I'm going to fray that. So fraying that one right there. Just pull your threads out. There we go. Happy there. These red threads, they're not my favorite. They're very clingy. Okay. And then, so I actually trimmed a little more than I probably should have there, but that's okay. And then right here, you can see we're not even. We're a little bit rough. This one needs to be frayed right here. I didn't bring a pokey tool in here. I only brought like 5 things in this room today. And because nothing else really will fit. And so pull your threads out. Do what you got to do there. And that's what we ended up with there. Fraying this one. Okay, it's getting messier. I'm liking it more and more. Like it more and more. If you guys could see the string mess I have going on over there. Okay. I just want to get it, the fray done. It needs a couple more poked out. And this is where I really do wish I had the pokey tool. So you're trying, when you're fraying fabric, you're trying to pull out the thread going in one direction so that the thread in the other direction is the fray part. And so you just want to use a pokey tool and poke out a couple of threads and pull them. Better. Much, much better. And yeah, you got to be fussy about it because this is the cover. It's the first thing somebody's going to see in this journal. And so if you ever have like little threads that are sticking, just bunch them all up. They like to stick to each other more than they like to stick to you. Just bunch them all up. Okay. So we're pretty far over here. Pretty far over here. I would really like this one to be even. I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it a little tiny haircut. Because this is the OCD. So we're doing it. I gave that one a little tiny haircut. Okay. We're looking good. I'm liking it. I'm ready to glue it down. So this one I'm going to do a bead of glue. And then I'm going to smooth it. So I'm going to pull this back. Pull this back. Not pulling it off of where it's glued with the glue stick, but I'm going to do a bead of glue, and we're gluing on that green fabric. And then smooth it with your finger. Don't go all the way to the edge, because remember, the green edge is showing through. Like the red does not go as far as the green. So smooth it out with your finger. If you get a little too much, it's all right. Wipe it in towards the red fabric, because the red fabric is going to be glued down anyway. And then push this over. And you can see I got glue showing through. And that's okay. It was not what I wanted, but it's what happened. A little too much Fabri-Tac, and probably this fabric is a little too thin. That's okay. Now we know. We all know. I did it right here, so we all know this is going to happen. So I didn't get it all the way, but I did get it through here. Just be a little more careful. I'm going to sew, so really, honestly, you don't have to use this glue. You don't have to do this step if you're sewing. I'm going to keep with it just because, you know, not everybody has a sewing machine, etc. And now that I know that, you know, it definitely shows through that much, I would just be a little more careful with my glue. That was exactly what I didn't want to happen. But of course, it's what happened. So, so I put a lot less glue on this one, a lot smaller of a bead, and I pushed it out, and we didn't get any glue showing. Well, it might show right there. We'll see. And I'm just going to keep going. Now this one's got a big section that needs to be glued down. And so with this one, I'm going to go ahead and start it smearing out. And just smooth that. Maybe I didn't smooth it enough there. Maybe it's because the glue seeped into that green fabric and then the bead was there and more visible. But when you're careful, you get a lot less showing through. You know, this is okay because I'm going to put a piece of lace across it. I don't care. It'll be fine. It was not what it was intended for, but it's what happened. Okay, so here, using a little bit, not a lot, and smoothing. Probably need a little more than that, honestly, but might end up with the glue line also. Okay. And then smoothing. Notice I'm pushing out with my hand when I'm smoothing it out there. Okay. I have a very Fabri-Tac-y finger. Several fingers. And I think we're done with this Fabri-Tac for now. So what do we have? We have a fabric covered watercolor cardstock 9x12 piece that we already put the score line in down the center, so that when we fold this, when it's dry, you're not going to fold it until like it's really, really dry, like tomorrow, possibly. You're going to fold it when it's really dry so that your fabric doesn't move or pull or bunch or anything like that. And so I'm just trying to work this glue off my finger. It bothers me. I don't know why. I don't like it stuck to my skin. Plus, who knows what it's made out of, you know? Our skin is our biggest organ. I don't want to have whatever this chemical is stuck to my finger. So, we did the cover part. When I do my decorating of the cover, I'll just tell you right now, there will be several pieces of lace, a bunch of different texture materials that I'm going to bunch up and put on my cover. And so, you know, I'm going to have something like this. I'm going to layer up a bunch of lace here and then put my focal point on top of that. On the inside, I will put a pocket all the way around. The lower part will have like a 4-inch pocket. And again, I'm just going to choose a piece of lace, probably leave some ruffle hanging out down here just because I like that look. And then when I sew around everything, I'm just going to have my pocket, you know, just clipped in with those sewing clips and just sew around it. You don't need to sew your pocket in the center. Your pocket will get sewn in the center by sewing in your signature. So when you sew around, just sew around the 4 sides. Don't sew down here. Don't sew your pocket in the middle. Just sew here around the 3 sides of your pocket. Because when you sew in your signature, that's what's going to hold that pocket tight right there. Okay. Pretty good. Other than right there, I'm pretty happy with it. And honestly, that is an easy fix. At least it's at the bottom part of it. That's an easy fix. Maybe not this exact one, but some kind of lace right there is an easy fix. All right, so we're good there. We constructed our cover. The inside is very nice looking. The outside, honestly, I love the fray. I don't know if you guys can see the fray, but I love the fray. And so I'm going to be a bad person and I'm going to hold it just because I want to see what it looks like. It's going to be beautiful. It's really going to be beautiful. I love the colors. It's definitely very Victorian, burgundy red, and forest green. But if you didn't put that score line in, you're not going to end up with that perfect edge right there. Okay, and we're going to set that aside to dry. That needs to dry for a good long while to hold everything together. These pieces of lace and so you could use this for a pocket. You could layer it, like I said, if you wanted a different look, or if this, if you got a whole lot of glue or whatever, this piece of lace is big enough that you could put it over the entire cover. I'm not going to do that, but you could have a lace cover that went over the green or the burgundy. You could just do part of it where, you cut it at an angle and it's got a piece of white lace on it. And something like that has happened in other journals where I've done, a diagonal lace. I don't leave a straight edge. I make that fray on both sides here, but you could do a diagonal piece of lace also. And that might be what happens to cover that. I don't know. I like it. See, if you do a diagonal lace, it gives you a whole nother layer. Don't leave a straight edge. That's my pet peeve. But kind of, fray that edge too. Anyway, that will probably happen. I don't know. We'll see. I've done it with other things, but I also have that really antique lace that was from a bed netting cover. And that is my preference to put on there because it's more open. You also have this very nice piece of big gold lace. Now it's going to hang out a whole lot unless you bump it up, but that could also happen. You have options. This could also happen down the spine. If you put it down the spine, you would go where you could have the scallopy part to the front, and then on the back side you'd have the points, or you could put the points on the front and the scallopy on the back. You have options. Okay, there's that part of it. Let's get to working on our pockets. Are they dry? They're not quite dry. Okay, for signature pages. Where did I put them? For signature pages. They're right here. We can work on building out our signature because these book page pockets are not quite dry yet. So let's work on assembling a signature. You guys have done this many times with me here. I need to grab some copy dyed paper. Let me see if there's some in this bin. One. Nope, that's straw paper. I mean, I'm not opposed to using straw paper, but that's straw paper. Let me go grab a stack of copy dyed paper. It's just out in the hall. So Let's start with 3 coffee dye. I may need more. Let's start with 3. I like the pattern of this one. I've got 3 coffee, 1 straw. I want a piece of ledger, and I did include this ledger page in your guys' kit. So let's go ahead and use, so you can size yours however you want to size it, but I might make him where he has a built-in, either a built-in pocket or a built-in pull-out. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and make him, I'm just using this for size way, to size him. Let's go ahead and make him like this. I just folded him, and then let's fold this one in. Not all the way, but in. So in our journal, we'll sew it in here, and this one can have a tab on it and open up, I guess. Probably put a pocket in there. So we can use this for a page. However, he is going to be too tall. I don't want to cut off the part with the number. We'll cut him off at the bottom. So I need this cutter. And we're going to size this page. You could fold up the bottom and make the bottom a pocket instead of cutting it off. I'm just going to trim it off. And so just using this page to size it. Put it right there. So I just cut off a little strip. You can save that and use it for clusters or something else. But there's that. So we'll use that for ledger. I have this document that came in the kit. So for this document, it should be the right height. It is the right height. And so obviously I want to, I want to see this seal thing here in the front, the stamp in the front. So I just folded it. This is vintage onion skin. A vintage onion skin that's been printed with a French document. And for this guy, I think I'm going to fold him in. He has a nice watermark right there. I'm just going to fold him in, and I'm going to fold him right about where the natural line is there. Right about like that. We have those two. We have some writing space. I want a handwritten document. So this one, it's got handwriting on it, but I want a handwritten document in there. I have some printable pages. You guys use whatever printable kit that you want to use. This is a doily, so a little paper doily. I'm just going to fold it in half. I want it this way or that way. I'm going to fold it in half. And I'll put that in the signature. It's just a fun little element. The kit included this doily, so there's that. You want to put that in there. And I definitely want to put some rag paper book pages in there. I want to put this one in. This one came in your kit. It's a nice piece of rag paper dictionary. You got an assortment of rag paper pages in your kit. This little guy. This little guy. And then we have this. This came in your kit. I think I'm just going to fold them. Let's fold them like this. There's that one. Eco die. I don't know if I'm going to put this eco die in here. It just depends. I usually like about 15 pages. So I don't know if I will have space to put him in here. Probably not, because generally I've overstuffed my signatures as it is. So let's hold him to the side. We may or may not put him in there. I have all of these kit pages, which I need to go through because they were just leftovers from other projects. And then let's see about doing the German book page. Where did I put the German book page? The German book page, let's see. I want it to come out as a folio so that I can sew it in. So I'm just looking to see if I can find some signature strings to make it so I can take out a section that are folios. They're kind of all hidden. So in that case, I tore out that whole section. And then I need to break down my spine more. So we're getting into the taking apart a book. I break down my spine more. Because there are signature strings, but sometimes they, they're hidden in that little fold. And so the more you can break down your book, the more those signature strings will come out. This is a very old German book. I don't know what year, but very old. So now when I pull it over, I have more of a chance of seeing those signature strings. Right there they are. And then you can just pull up on your signature string. Usually have the small scissors, but for today, we might be able to get this one. He's too tight. I think I got him. Okay. So hopefully now we can get out of folio. All that work to get out of folio. Yes, we have a folio. Okay. There's that. And there's a mess. And then we have these that we can play with later and some stuff to decorate. Okay. Going back over here. No strings. No. Don't start coming back over here. You stay over there where you are far, far away from me. Hello, Lisa Maria. Let's go ahead and look at these kit pages. So far I only have 3 rag paper pages. I usually put a few more than that in there, and I don't count the rag paper pages. I don't count the doily. I don't count those as part of my 15 pages. What I count as 15 pages is 15 of the sturdy, either the printable pages or these. The printables are on 28-pound paper. So the sturdy paper is what I'm counting. I'm not counting the thin paper. It just doesn't add a lot of bulk, so I don't feel like I need to count those ones. And so the first thing I'm going to do here to assemble this signature is I'm going to fold my pages. So for copy die, I usually just fold them in half. I'm not worried about, flip outs or anything like that, tucks. I'm just folding these guys in half, and they'll be sewn into the signature just like that. So copy dyed paper were included in your kit as well. So let's start with 3. I don't know if we will use that. I'm going to set it off to the side. We've got our rag paper book pages, and we've got our extras. So if you see, I'm making piles. This is the way I assemble a signature. Then I've got my more authentic pieces here. And now I've come to the digital part. That's an option too. Okay, for the digitals, I'm just looking for, these were from leftovers from a whole bunch of different things. So I'm just looking for some nice Christmassy prints that I like. I normally would have printed a new kit for this project. However, I have all of these extras. So we're just going to go through them and see I don't want any duplicates. I don't want to have more than one of the same page in here. We're just going to go through and see if I like any of these in this kit. There were several different kits used here. Several different people's kits used. So I'm just making sure I don't have any that are the same on the inside. We could use that one, although it is not my favorite. And then I have these two, which again are not my favorite. I might run and go turn the printer on. We're not going to sew it in because, like I said, I want to sew around my cover. But I might go turn the printer on so I can print out a couple more. I'm happy with these three. I don't really love this one. I don't love that print. Let me run and turn the printer on. Maybe I will print them. Or maybe I won't. I don't know. Let's see what else we have. We have this one on the inside of something else. I know that. And those ones. Okay. Well, that left me with 3 pages that I thought I was happy with. Let's see what else. Let's see what else we can do here. Let me turn the printer on. I do have a bunch of my own digitals in there that we could definitely put in, as well as I have Florentine paper that we could put in there. I don't think I'm going to put a sheet of Florentine paper in the signature because I'm planning on decorating a whole lot with the Florentine paper and I don't want it to become too much, you know? So I'm going to let the printer heat up and then I'm going to run a couple more digitals out so that we have aiming for like 8 digitals. And then we'll mix in the rest of these pages and that will total 15 by the time we're done. When you fold your pages, these were folded in a whole stack. When you fold your pages to put in your signature, you do want to make sure that they are really nicely creased and perfectly folded. If they're not perfectly folded, that's where you get your edges of your signature to be all wonky instead of being nice. Now, if you want the wonky look, go for it. But these were folded in a whole stack just to give them a crease. And then I did fold each individual one to be perfect after the fact. But we only have 3. So let the printer heat up and then we're going to print the rest of these. Hello, Carol. It's a mixture of Roxy those ones in this pile, a mixture of Roxy Creations and Ruby and Pearl, and there was another French lady digital one, and then there's like 5 different designers I used for those pages in those Christmas journals, and that's where those extra pages came from. Okay, let me grab some digitals out of the file here and get them printing so that we can finish our signature. At least we can assemble it and then I can sew around it. Let's use, I have all my Christmas ones in one file on my computer. I really like these ones. Let's do these. So I'm going to print that one. And it says my printer isn't ready. Okay, so I'm going to print off a couple more pages. Or at least I thought I was. The printer's yelling at me. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. So while those are printing, let's work on some pockets. While those are printing, let's work on some pockets. And Let's see. Let's print this one. And maybe we'll print, I like this one. Sorry about the printing. It's a necessary evil though, right? Have to do it. I don't know how many I just sent to the printer. We'll wait a minute and see. And then I'm going to print on the back side of them too. And we have options for printing on the back side. You can print something that is more basic, and therefore, it allows the person to write, some writing space in there because it's not completely covered with images. So you have different options. So I've sent enough of those to the printer that will be good. Okay, and then let's see where we're at. We have these that we glued together for pockets. They are just about dry. And so when you glue two rag paper pages together, it's very, very sturdy. So we can use these as pockets. All you want to do, I'm going to leave all these piles right like this because we're going to come back to this here in just a minute. All you want to do for pocket bases is trim them down to whatever size that you're looking for. You can use, like your journal is, if you're making the journal I'm making, it's a 9x6 journal. So you don't want your pockets to be any more than like 5.5 max. 5 is good. I like to be able to see, like when I put a pocket on a page, I like to be able to see some of the page around my pocket. You don't want to put your pockets all the way up into the spine area because that bulks out your spine too much and it doesn't work. The pages don't turn nicely. So when you put your pocket on your page, leave some space around your pocket. Because it's a 6-inch page, or that's a 5.5-inch page. Your journal is 6 inches, but this page, because it was an 8.5 by 11, it's a 5.5-inch page, meaning a 5-inch pocket is maximum that you're going to want to put on there. For me, 5 inches is okay. We can try a 5-inch pocket and see where we get. I want to trim off some of this just to cut down, just to cut down a piece of my pocket. I'm going to leave the title and the page number here. And then this way, I'm going to trim off all this white space. And I'm not throwing away the big edge like this. This piece, I don't throw these away because they're doubled up rag paper. And they're the perfect thing for stamping on. So I do save those. And then we're going to go, I'm going to do a 5-inch pocket right there. And then I would prefer my pocket to be about 3.5 inches deep. And this is because this is going on a signature page. So about a 3.5 by 5-inch pocket is what I'm looking for. And you'll end up with something that looks like this to put on your page. And from here, we can thumb hole notch it, but first I want to decorate it. And then that's going to be your pocket. You don't need to do any other reinforcing. That is perfectly strong enough to go on your page. And when you do them this way, you're not using cardstock and it's not adding a lot of bulk to your signature. So let's cut the rest of these down like this so we have pockets. These are the German ones. Same thing with the German. I'm going to cut a little bit. I might actually not cut that one off. Let's start out by doing it 3.5 and see where we get. We'll trim it this way. Trim off some of that white. Not quite straight. Better. Trim off some of that white that way. Let's see about doing a 5. I don't want the white so much up here. I like to trim pretty much all the white off. I save the top of the page with the page number. And then let's do the 5 inches from here, from this side. And then hopefully we're at 3.5, a little bit over. So I can trim this way too. And just keep in mind that I was lining up with the printing. The printing in these books is not exactly straight. The printing, oftentimes you'll find printing that is crooked. You'll find printing pages that are crooked. So I was lining up with the print edge. It doesn't always work that way. So just make sure, you do square it up at the end. We'll do a couple more of these. Let's start by trimming off the white at the top, since we know we're trimming that off. Again, I lined up with the print. It may come back to get me. We'll see. I really like making pockets this way. They come out beautiful. And then 5 inches on this side, 5 inches on that side. And then we'll do 3.5 right here. And that's that guy. And then got 3 beautiful pockets. You don't have to do them all the same size. It just, I know I'm going to use a lot of them, so I always put that backwards. Let's trim it 3.5. And then on this side, we're going to go right there. And there's that guy. For this one, he measures just a hair over 5. So let's just clean up this rough edge that's right here. And then I'm going to cut him in half. So I just want to take off this rough edge. And then from there, we can do 4 inches on him. Let's do some deep ones. That's a 4-inch pocket. This one, let's see where we're at. I don't want anything taller than a 4. In fact, let's see, we can bump him down to, I'm going to do him at 4. So I've got 2 4 by 5 pockets. So those are a deeper pocket. That's what we ended up with book page pockets so far. I hear the printer's done. I'm going to run and turn those pages around, and I'll separate out from what I'm keeping and what I'm not keeping as far as this pile goes. These are nice glued together pieces. We can use those for bases for lots of different things. The super thin strips I do let go, but the thick ones I keep. So those can go over there. Let me go turn those papers around. And I'll print the back sides. Good morning, Kendall. And here we go. For the back sides of these, let's print just all kinds of different things. Let's do this one. And that one. Usually I print multiples at a time. I'm just kind of picking and choosing which ones I want here. And then I have really been liking this guy. And we've already done that one. Let's get one more here. And after this one, I would like to put this one and this one. And let's print those together. All right, we're good there. Printer's printing away. Wrapping a couple presents for a work party. Awesome. Awesome. I love that everything is happening Christmassy. Everything Christmassy is happening right now. I love that. Christmas is definitely my favorite time of year. Those are almost done printing. For these, I definitely want to do some collaging on them. I'm not just gluing them in as a pocket. I'm going to collage them, put a focal point, and finish them off while we're here live today. So we'll finish these pockets and we'll get our signature assembled and we'll have made our cover. That's kind of the goal for today. To do the collaging, let's use some of this. I have all these scraps that were left over from when we made masterboards. So we can use these Florentine scraps, these, whatever is in this pile to kind of start out with to decorate. They may not be the right size. We'll figure it out as we go. For this pocket, you got to look and see which side do you want, do you like this side? Do you like that side? I like this side, so we're going to leave it there. And then if you don't have Florentine paper, just any type of patterned, print with all over pattern will work. These are pretty small pieces, and I know I cut them up small on purpose. Pretty small pieces. So let's just see about tearing this guy down a little bit. I like that. And then I don't know if I want to put a red one on there with it. We'll have to see. I don't want to cover up that part right there. It's special and I would like to keep it. I have a little bit of handwriting here. A little bit of handwriting. I'm looking for torn edges to collage here. And so I'm just doing a little collage. That's good. And then we're going to put a focal point on there, but let me see if I also want to put some red back behind here. I think a little bit. What can it hurt, right? What can it hurt? I mean, even something very, very small, like this little scrap, would really be nice adding it on there. I kind of like the way there's some book page showing though. Just play with it till you get it where you want it to be. I really want to put it there, but I'm afraid I'll cover up too much, Let's do it like that. So there's a little place to glue here. So this is basically the way that I'm going to decorate these pockets is I'm just going to do a little collage on them and then they'll have a focal point. Maybe a label. I usually use labels, but people say, does everything need a label? Yes, it does. I like everything to have a label and I put glue on this one, but this one needs to go down first. Everything needs to have a label. I don't know. I like labels. It doesn't have to be a label, but generally I like a focal point plus one more thing on top of collage. 3 things are better, but at least 2. So here's our pocket. We're going to go ahead and put this guy somewhere in this area. And then this one goes on. I don't know. He obviously was this way. There we go. There's that guy. Both of those. And then I do the collaging just like I do my masterboards, where I can let it hang over and then trim around it in the end. So this one's just going to go down from the top right here. I don't really want this straight edge, so I'm going to trim around a couple of these fleur-de-lis. And these two pieces were Florentine paper, and that's an original 1800s document. So I like to craft with original stuff. There's original pages in the signature. And then I'll use original ephemera as we go too. So I've got it coming down from the top. Not covering up my book. I am going to cover up my book page. My book page number. And that's that. So there's that. It's got a little collage base layer. I left a big gap right here. You want to know why? Because I'm going to put my focal point right there. And then normally you would wait for this to be completely dry before you trimmed it off. But for the sake of the video, just even it all up. And there's that. And then we will put a focal point on. It's just very simple little collage. I've got a bunch of little tiny scraps over here. And then from there, where are those sheets? I don't know if one of these people will fit on here. These people are too big. They're going to have to go on journal cards. I may have printed them smaller for you guys. I'm not sure if I grabbed this one and I printed this for you this way, but they're going to have to go on journal cards because they cover the whole thing. Like we could put her on there, but I really did design this as a pocket. But these guys are designed for journal cards or tags, large journal cards or tags. So they do not fit on my pocket, which means I need another focal point. And somewhere I had some German scrap. Let's use that. Right here. Here's some German scrap. So we have these bells. The bells are kind of beautiful there. The bells with the label. I've got these kids that are in there. I'm going to do these kids. So the kids have a little sleigh and they're in there. So we're about ready to sew in that, or not sew in, but assemble that signature. The stuff's done on the printer. So there's those cute little children. That's the focal point. They look like they were taken off of a Victorian greeting card or something like that. You don't have to ink them, but this was sitting here, so. If you got one of the markers, if I had that marker in here, I would definitely be using the marker. So we're going to glue these guys up. And these are embossed, the German scrap, so they do take a bit of your glue stick. Anytime you use glue stick on things that are embossed or have texture to them, it kind of eats it up a little bit. Got a chunk of glue. And we're going to stick those on, keeping them down lower because we're going to put a thumb notch in there. And I put that right in that center open space, and then we're going to go with a label across the bottom here. So let me set that to dry for a minute. We'll move this stuff out of the way, and we're going to do that signature. I have zero space on this desk right now. Let me grab those from the printer. How is everybody doing out there? Everybody having a good Saturday so far? All right, so these are from the printer. Apparently I printed one too many. There's something on the back of that one. Okay. So when you get your papers, you printed your kit, you printed your papers, whatever. You just need to decide which way you're going to fold them. Like I prefer these ones in the center, so I'll fold it this way so that they're going to be in the center. So as you fold your digitals, kind of think about, what you want where. And, you might change your mind. And if you've changed your mind after you folded it, you'll just refold it. But, if you can kind of think about, well, what do I want to see when I flip through this journal? Do I want this on the outside where, it's the first thing that you see as you flip through? Or do you want to fold it the other way where it's on the inside and you open it up and you see it? And I like to just kind of keep it where there's a page with a focal point, and then there's a page that's a little more, open, a little less focal pointy. This one doesn't really have a focal point. It's kind of collaged everywhere. So is that one. So is that one. This is the focal point. And it's just, I had some leftover pages. So that's kind of part of it too. And then this guy, let's go ahead and do him focal point. We had more regular pages than we did focal points. So this is just kind of a whatever page. I'm going to fold it this way. And that means we have 2, 4, 6, we have 8 pages like that. That might be good. I might want one more. I did print this one, so I'm going to go throw it back in the printer and print on the other side because I have too many that I've just printed and not done anything with. Let me throw it back in. And then for that one, let's pick something that we don't have in this pile. And somebody was asking about one of these red ones. I don't see it here anymore. Let me see if I can find who that is from when I go back in this digital file. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that red rose one is probably Ruby and Pearl. Lisa Maria, I think you asked about that. I'm trying to find it. The Ruby and Pearl aren't always in the Christmas because they're not. A lot of what I've used isn't Christmas. So I'm going to print this one on the back. And this is Ruby and Pearl, if this is the one you were asking about. We'll see. We'll find out together. Okay, that should be good. And then the way that I've got them into piles, I do that for a reason, because when I assemble the signature, I have a formula that I use. Generally, it starts out where I use a kit page, so some kind of digital kit page, some kind of printed paper if you're using scrapbook paper or whatever, some kind of printed paper. Copy dyed paper goes in between every single printed paper. And then I mix in, whatever kind of things like this. These are original documents. So I mix those in. I mix in rag paper book pages. You can use whatever you have. I'm using rag paper, original documents. Then I have a section that I put in all of my extra bits, like my envelopes, my bags, especially glassine bags and, paper bags, things like that. Anything that you want to sew into your signature that's not a page goes in a different pile for me. I need to grab a glassine bag and an envelope because I want to put both of those in. So those are right here. Let me grab those. page from the printer. So this is the Ruby and Pearl one that I just printed. This one is also Ruby and Pearl. I just saw it. This one is also Ruby and Pearl. Both of those red rose, well, I don't know if, I guess it's maybe roses are in there, but both of these are Ruby and Pearl. And I've printed it on the back with ladies. So there we go. In this journal, I will be putting this glassine bag and this envelope. So those are my extras. Here we go for signature construction. Give myself some room. Okay. First of all, I want to figure out what image do I want to open up my front cover and see. If I don't want to see, like if I plan on decorating the page, then, you know, whatever you want to see when you first open your cover, that's what I need to find first. So we could use this, and then I could decorate something nice right there, and then you'd open it up. But usually I prefer to have a nice printed image on the front cover. Like not on the front cover, in the very first page you see when you open up your journal. Okay, so just pick through your pages, find the one that you want to see when you open up your book. I'm going to choose this one. I want to see that when I open up my book. Then you want to find the one that you want to see in your center. So when your journal is completely open up and your signature strings are here, what do you want to see in the center of your journal? So for me, we had one chose just a few minutes ago. I'm going to choose this one. I want to see this one. When my book is completely open in the center, I want to see this one. So now I know this is my first page and this is my last page, because when you assemble them, the one that's in the center is your last page and this is the first one. So now I have those pulled out. Put those two to the side. You have the rest of these ones to play with. That's going to be the center, so I'll put it over there. And we're going to start with that first one. Whatever's on the inside, I've just printed a random variety of things. I'm going to put a copy die in there. I like to get that doily right in the front. I enjoy doing that. The one thing I don't have is a botanical book page, so I need that too. So I like to put the doily right up in the front. I think it's a good place to put it. So I'm going to wrap that around a coffee dyed paper. It's a little too white for me here. I might come in and do some changing, but for now, let's just go with it and build and see what we end up with. So you can just go kit page coffee dye, but I like to add in some extras too. Let's go ahead and get this ledger page in here right off the bat. There's a ledger page. And I'm building my signature and I'm keeping everything folded exactly where the fold line is. And then from here, I do need another kit page. So I just need to pick whatever, you know, whatever I want to put here. That's fine. Then coffee dye. And here, you know, we just put a doily up here. So I'm going to evenly space out my little extras, my little fun extras. I'm going to evenly space those out. I have some rag paper pages over here. So let's go ahead and get rag paper in here. And I was going to choose this one, but do you see how much the color blends together? I think there's a better option. It's a little different looking, just a little more variety. And I'm going to put this one in here. Now, for rag paper pages, I always reinforce them. Again, I sell my journals, so I overbuild them. I'm going to reinforce this with some medical tape. It's white. It looks like washi tape, and it's medical tape. I've done it several times on camera before. If you guys want me to do it, I'll do it now. But I'm not sewing this in at the moment, so I can go grab that. It's across the hall, but I'm going to reinforce that page before I sew in my signature. Then from there, I need to choose another page. Let's pick this one and put this one here. And then we'll do coffee dye. And then let's do Let's go ahead and do another kit page. This time though, I'm going to put this glassine bag around this kit page. And I'm going to put that in. And then I'm going to put, need more copy dyed paper. I'm going to put coffee dyed paper in here. I thought I grabbed a stack of coffee dyed paper. What did I do with it? Right here. There's the coffee dyed paper. I'm going to put coffee dyed paper in there. And I am going to go back and count, make sure I don't have too thick of a signature because I heavily embellished my journals. So yeah, don't want them to be too chunky. And then I'm going to add this page. Am I? No, not that one just yet. Let's do this guy. Let's get our poinsettias in here. Nice. I like it. And then let's choose a kit page that looks nice with those. Let's put Santa maybe. We can do that. And I do like this one with it. So let's do coffee dye and that. I might have too many coffee dye. We'll go back and check. Can you have too much writing space? I don't know. Yes, obviously you can. And again, we've got this situation going. So I don't know. I'm going to do it, but I reserve the right to change my mind as we go. And then another kit page. And this one always looks nice here with this dictionary. Let's put this one in now. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've got 12, so we're okay. We're aiming for 15. This will be 13. 13 here. And then we've got 14. I am having a little bit too much pages in this. 14. Let's add in this one. 14 plus this guy. This is straw paper. 15. That one's definitely got to go in there. I really did not like one of these. Where did it go? I don't think I liked this one. Yeah, the Christmas trees aren't doing it for me. I'm going to add this one instead because I like it more. And now I have to be choosy. If your signature gets out of whack, just put it back together. Because you really are aiming to keep everything really nicely folded right there. So that's where we're at. Don't need that page. He's an extra. And I'm going to do my center one here. However, I have this little rag paper and this envelope that I need to go back and find a home for. This little rag paper page, you know, I don't mind putting something else in the center, but I'm going to leave it open for now. And let's add the little rag paper one there. And then for the envelope, I'm looking for a space that would be nice. Maybe even right there. And the reason why I add the envelope in is because you can make it a pocket. So normally I add it like this. And then you can cut open the top. You can cut it at a slant even. And then it's a pocket to put something in. You can cut open this side right here. And then it's a pocket to put like a larger journal card in. I usually wrap it around a digital page. Maybe we should put it here. The way that these poinsettia flowers are kind of going with that. Maybe we should put it right there. And you can still see Santa out there. That's okay. We can put it there. everything is in. We have our signature put together. We're just going to push it together. I would probably go back and add in another like authentic handwritten French document. We'll have to see about that. But for right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 pages. I don't count the thin pages. I don't count any of the little extras. I don't count like the onion skin document because it's thin. I don't count things that are thin because they don't add bulk. I'm only counting those thick pages because those are the ones that are adding bulk to a journal. So let's find an original antique document and put that in. And then I think I am good with this signature. And then from here, you know, obviously we'll add our pockets and tucks and tags and all of that kind of stuff. But that's essentially our signature. Let me find a place to stick it, and then we'll be good. And stick it in this bin right here. Okay. We need the rest of these and this and the little collage scraps. And I'm going to need the German scrap to decorate with. Not everything will be decorated with German scrap, but some will. And then I'm going to need these because now we're going to make some ephemera. And this original French fashion magazine because I'm going to cut some of these ladies out. I'm going to cut some of these ladies out to put down onto even these children. These would be adorable, decorating little tags and pockets and whatever. You can even use like the bonnets and the clothes and stuff like that to decorate with. This one has a whole thing of this. So everyone got a full issue of a French fashion magazine in their kit. The next kit that comes out, it will come out while I am away on Christmas break, but I will do a whole video for it. And then I will be taking orders for the kit for January. The January kit is a French antique neutral journal kit. And then I'm adding in, the only color I'm adding in are these original French blue letters. So anything that is this color, like the ledger pages we had last night, anything that is this color, this is the only color I will be adding for January. So it is all French antique neutrals with that color of blue. And so I will be doing all of this frilly girly stuff again in January. And so I have lots of options for cutting out and decorating here. So there's that guy. So that's my pile of goodies to sit down and play with. And then I have all of this. This is cut up master boards that we've made. We have some complete pieces, but there's a whole bunch in here that need decorating. So I'm going to sit down with you guys right now and we're going to make some ephemera. Yes, I would definitely use the Braille for a page. I have used the Braille for a page many times in journals. I didn't in this one. The only reason why I didn't is because I have a Braille pack in here, but I don't want to take a page out of it. I don't know where I put the Braille for the kit. I need to find the Braille for the kit. But yes, if you have your Braille page from your kit, I would definitely put it in. Or if you didn't want to put it in because it is a little bulky, right? If you didn't want to put the Braille page in as a page in your signature, you could just cut it up and use it to decorate with. Like I've used the Braille often to cut up into pieces, and then I layer up a bunch of clusters, and then I will take that whole cluster and put on a journal card or pocket or tag or whatever, or a page to decorate. The Braille adds a whole lot of texture. I have used it in Christmas, the Christmas journals I made last year. I used the Braille as a page, and then I flipped up the bottom of the Braille page to make it a pocket. And I sewed the Braille page down the edge to kind of sew up that pocket. And I hand sewed it last year. Just whatever you want to use. You can definitely put it in.
just be aware it's going to add a little bit of bulk. It's not bad. It's just going to add a little bit of bulk. I probably would put it in here. I just need to pull one. Let's go ahead and finish these guys off. So we've got this one started. Let's get the thumb notch in it. And then let's go on to, adding a label or whatever we're going to do there. For thumb notching, I'm using the whale tail punch. Most of you guys have seen that. And then all I do, you have to be really careful because I don't like the look of a super deep thumb notch. I like just a nice little cute, hey, it's a pocket kind of a thumb notch. And so just center it and then take a little notch out. And so that's about how much I'm clipping. It moved, but that's about how much I'm clipping, and just visually center. And you've just got a little notch. It's not super deep. It's not gigantic. I don't like using the circle punch because the circle punch, if you're not careful, you get something that looks like a half circle. I'm not looking for a half circle. You do you, but for me, that's what I want. Okay. And then let's ink around this pocket. I really need to grab a new, this is going to be super messy. I need to grab a new blending foam. Let's ink around it. I usually don't ink around everything, but because I've got some flack for it, I have started to ink a little bit more, but not a whole lot. So after you add all of your layers onto your book page, this thing is sturdy, very sturdy. So that's one. He needs to be put under something because he's a little bit wavy, and we can tuck him under this mat for now. I need to add a label to him, but the labels are over there. Let's do a couple more and then we'll add labels all together at the end. There's that. I wondered where that went to. No, computer, I don't want to free up space right now, but thank you for asking me. 2 scraps. Tucking all the focal pointy stuff down there. 2 scraps. We just did this one. Let's do the German one. The German one, this is actually printed paper. This one is not Italian Florentine paper. So you can use printable paper. Absolutely. Again, I'm just looking for pattern and color. That's really all I'm being concerned with right now. So let's do that one. And we're going to do basically the same kind of a thing, although I might mix Florentine in on this one because why not? I don't really want to cover up my German right there. And that's what I struggle with, is I want to see the German. So we're going to save it. Not going to cover it up. And I'm going to tuck this one under here. And we've got that going on, and I like that. And I think we're going to stop right there, and then we're going to add a focal point. I do have 2 patterns, and it is kind of playing with me. Let's see what else we can find here. That little strip coming down right there, I kind of like it. I'm going to do it. Normally I wouldn't leave a straight edge, but I really like this little strip. It's almost like washi tape coming down right here. Yep. All we need is the little top bit. So I'm going to do it. If you have washi tape, there you go. It's like handwritten washi tape. Okay. So I'm going to glue that on and then we'll decorate. The Braille makes nice pockets too. It's nice and sturdy. You can really do anything with Braille. I've done it for tag bases, all kinds of things. It's almost like embossed paper. So anywhere that you would use embossed paper, you can use that Braille. This is letterpress paper from the Italian stationery company, and it is super thick, and it has a lovely texture to it. And then this one. The kits come out once a month, and so I did this kit was November's kit, and it was because I had gotten behind with some other things going on. But so the kits come out once a month, and I sell them usually during my live sales, but because the next kit will come out in December, and I won't be having live sales in December because of Christmas break. I will just pop on with a different, just a video about the kit. But you just order it by messaging me. You can order a kit by messaging me. You can order a kit, if you hop on the live when I'm talking about it. I'll schedule the video so you guys will get notice if you're subscribed to the channel. But then you just, if you decide you want the kit, you can order the kit. Now, I will say kits are changing. The ordering process and stuff is changing in January. So when I do launch that kit, there will be, a whole here's what's happening with kits thing going on. But I am saying in January, it is a French neutral base with that lovely blue French color in it. That color of blue specifically is kind of unique to French paper. Even the blue ledger we had last night, that paper is made in France. We did import a lot of things from France during that time, and I know that paper was made in France. Even though the books were probably then brought over here, or the paper was then brought over here, we only find that blue paper in France. You can find it here, but the paper here came from France. Like that blue paper is the color of blue is very unique. You don't find it anywhere else other than France. So here we have this base situation going on. And I'm going to go ahead and do another one with the German scrap, and then we'll move around and we'll do some with the lady stuff from the ladies magazine. I have a very, neutral green. We can add a Santa. That Santa is actually pretty good right there. And I don't want to dig a whole bunch. So we're just going to go with the Santa. He's pretty good. Size-wise, he's good. Let's do it. And where I'm going to use a label, we could also use some little poinsettia flowers. I do have some of those I need to go dig out. I haven't even gotten my Christmas stuff down out of the closet yet. I have bins of Christmas things, Christmas junk journal things, and I haven't even been able to get them out of the closet yet. So all of my Christmas stuff is currently in the closet. I will get it out, but in there are some really nice red poinsettia flowers, and I could put some of them, maybe with a label also, but I think a little flower would be good on this one. And so I am going to attempt to ink around him, but honestly, I don't think we're going to see it too much. Let's get him on there. And then let's do one more, and let's make it with something from that magazine. The only problem with the things from the magazine are usually they're longer images because they are, I'm going to leave him pretty far up there. They are from, like dresses and fashion models and things like that. So getting something to fit on a 3.5-inch pocket might be a challenge. We're going to see what we can do. But there's that guy. And then, of course, we'll add some little, something here in a few minutes. Let me stick him under the mat, too, so that he can stay flat. So let's go away from German scrap for a moment, or at least attempt to. And so we've done one of these, and we've done one of these. Now let's work on this one. And that's a good one for the magazine because it's a 4-inch pocket. I don't want to cover up too much on this guy. I love this paper, this rag paper. This would be a great one though. And let's go on this side with it this time. Let's go on this side. So from here, I'm just going to tear a little bit. I don't want to lose too much of my Florentine paper. That's good. We're good there. Let's go ahead and get something else on here. I've got I've got these again. I feel like that's a whole lot. I've got these little holly leaves. And then I've got over here in the neutral section, I also have these gold pieces. Those are beautiful. Over here in the neutral section, I mean, even something like this coming down, like we did little washi tape coming down, I do like that. That's why I save even something like this, because you can just tuck it in as washi tape somewhere. Anyway, how about ledger on here? We have some ledger, we have some handwriting. Here's one of these guys. It's very white, and this page is very aged in color, and that's the only thing that I'm struggling with at the moment is how white everything is in comparison. That's what I love about the Florentine paper. It's not printed on a white base. It's printed on that lovely cream colored base. So that's extra nice for me. I'll tear this off, but I think we could have some writing down here at the bottom. I mean, I don't know that I'll do anything with that, but, you know, let's take it off. And then let's put this one down here. I like it. It's okay. I might like a little less of it. Yeah, that's better. So I'll have to cut off some here at the bottom. That's okay. Let's stop with that there for that one. And then we'll add something. Actually, we're going to add from that magazine. And that magazine is black and white. It's not really black and white anymore. It's aged and white. But so because we're going to add from that magazine, I'm going to add another piece that has a lot more color. So if you're going to add stuff from that magazine, it's really better to add stuff that is very busy and colorful, and then add your magazine image to the top up there. And so we need to kind of tear some of this off here. I don't want to cover up my handwriting, but it kind of looks like that's what's going to happen. I don't want to lose my edge over there. So, yep, that's what's going to happen. We're going to cover up that handwriting that I just fussed and put on there. I'm going to keep this one up a little bit. So let's tear the bottom. Just make something that looks pretty to your eye. There is no real, like, you know, people could tell you whatever formula, and that's just a formula for whatever they're specifically making, but just make something that looks nice to your eye. When you collage your pieces, leave a place for a focal point. Otherwise it gets too busy, but just make something that looks pretty to your eye, keeping in mind, you know, you're going to put something there. And we don't even know what we're going to put there yet, but something's going there. So this is some original French ledger. And I know it's going to hang off the bottom, so I didn't bother to glue all the way. And hanging it off the bottom. I think it was supposed to go all the way over, wasn't it? There we go. Now it's all the way over. Let's glue this one. And the Italian paper is, it just really collages so beautifully. I am so happy that we have that. It's just been so much fun to play with and work with. So there's that one. And let's get this guy on. So the red and the white are both Italian. And then some French ledger and some very, very old French dictionary. And for this one, I'm just going to pop it up here. So that's what we've got going on. I need to trim off the excess on the back. Good morning, J Mac. How are you today? We're making some ephemera, and then I'm going to put that signature, just sit it in the cover so that we can all see what that all came out looking like. And then I'll take it across the hall and sew at some point today. I don't know when, but at some point today, that will go across the hall. Okay, so that I don't get glue on my magazine. Let's see what we can find in here to put on this. Do you see what I mean? Like, you can put the top of a lady on there. So for one that you have to like to cut her out, you might lose too much of her dress. She's not wasted. You'll just use the top half of her on a pocket. So that might be an option too. To just use the top half. Like these children, the children are going to be, you know, you'd have to cut their feet off. I'm not opposed to it necessarily. But one of these ladies, you know, if she was the right size, we could put one of these kind of a ladies where it's more of her bust on there. You could just put, you know, some Victorian clothing on there, Victorian bonnet. That would be good too. But see, these ladies, they don't have full bodies. And you could definitely put one of those on there. Like just the top half. That would be okay too. And then we have these kind of images to use. And I don't think there are any more images in here. I think the back page of all the magazines are the text part of the magazine. We've got quite a few to play with here. Let's do... I really want to use these children. I'm going to use those on tags. I mean, I don't know what else I would do with her, so let's try. We would get like from the shawl area. Let's try her. Just because I think she's going to be kind of difficult to find a place for. I'm going to cut right through this part of my magazine. So if you're trying to save, you know, that front part, just always look and see what is on the back of your magazine. Or copy them if you can take them to a printer and scan and copy them. That would be great too. I have done that with so many of them, but you know, it's impossible to scan every single one for me anyway. So I didn't scan every one, but let's see what she will look like on this pocket. So for these, they're printed on magazines. Newspapery kind of quality paper from the Victorian times. So these are original 1870s. I don't know what her exact date is, but 1870s, 1880s, 1890s, that kind of time frame. And so you just want to be aware that if you're cutting the original, it's more of a newsprint kind of paper. So you got to be a little bit careful with it because, you know, your scissors are really, really sharp and they're meant for cutting a whole variety of things. And the newspaper is kind of thin. I cut and use it all the time. I will just say, you know, you got to be a little gentle with it. You can't be super speedy. And, you know, I'm going to cut her all the way out, I guess. Maybe leaving this bottom part because we know we're cutting most of that away. But I love this ribbon that she's showing us in her hair right here. I love that. Or on her bonnet, whatever this thing is called. I love this. They were so fancy back then. So fancy. I don't know where all the fanciness came from, you know. When people decided that everything was going to be fancy, fancy, fancy. When did the fancy come into play? You know? Because the beginning of time, people were simple, right? Because there wasn't fancy things. But so when did we become fancy, 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 I wonder? So for her, we can get her anywhere on here. It's kind of a little strange. I mean, you know, her face is right here in this Italian paper. There's nothing wrong with it. It's beautiful, but her face is kind of like right in the Italian paper. And so this is where I would need to color or cut that little, because, you know, she's going on something really dark like this. If I had the Tombow marker or even just inking, let's try inking, because the Tombow marker is the specific color to match like vintage things, right? And so I want to try to just very gently ink away some of that, because she's going on, you know, she's going on some Italian paper. I don't want her face to just blend right into that Italian paper. And that's what was happening. So I've added a little bit of color there, and I'll hold it up and show you too. If you have the little mini blenders, those are really helpful. I don't have any mini blenders. They're on my Christmas list, but after I get done shopping for everyone else, I might actually get to buy a little bit of stuff for myself. I have a whole Christmas list, and I missed the Ranger sale where stuff was on sale, and I needed the Tim Holtz spray inks. And so I'm going to have to maybe just pick out a couple colors. I don't know. But I need those. And I need the little mini daubers, I think. Okay. So it's a little better now. Her face isn't quite as like into the Italian paper. There's one little thing that I think I'll trim, and then I think we're good. And I'm just going to glue her down. She's one that would be a hard, you know, she'd be hard to put somewhere else. So let's just put her right on this pocket. Now, before you put her on this pocket, you have options. You could decide to go in and color her. She doesn't have to just be black and white. See the steel engraving? Look at the quality of the printing. Don't look at the quality of my fussy cutting, but look at the quality of the printing. You can see all that texture. I'm hoping you can see all that texture. Steel engraved printing is so fabulous. So you could go in and color like the ribbon down, or you could color her. She doesn't have to be black and white. I'm going to leave her black and white, but I may color her later. I don't know. And the other thing is gluing these. You know, obviously this is newspaper that is 140, 50 years old. So just glue gently. Don't just take like a super dry glue stick and go to town. Glue gently. Make sure that you're going the right direction. Otherwise, if you get a little too careless, just like any other paper, you're going to rip her. So just be careful. I'm really gluing her up there. And there we go. I just be gentle with my antique things. We need to pick her a height that looks good. And a location that looks good. I think that's about there. I don't want to stick this over, but I don't want it here at the same time. So there's that. I think she's beautiful on there. I like her very much. Now I'm going to trim off this gluey piece because I forgot and glued all the way down. And there's that pocket. And this needs to stick to something. There we go. She definitely needs, you know, a little label, a little flower, a little something. But she's really cute, and I liked putting her on there. And so then I'm going to thumb hole punch her because she's a pocket. Just trying to do it evenly. And there's her. And so that's the way I'm using those French fashion magazines. As I'm just using the original images out of them. And then I will use the text part in Collage Masterboards or whatever. But so let's go ahead and decorate, because we've decorated one of every style of our pockets. Let's go ahead and decorate a couple pieces, because we have all the collaging done on them. Let's decorate a couple pieces of the masterboard that we cut up a long time ago. So these ones are already done. Did a number of them. Those ones are already done. We have these ones to play with. That's a really beautiful one. Let's see about putting a lady. Maybe a lady on that one. So now I'm going to take images like this and I'm going to put some ladies, some images from the French fashion magazine on them. Trying to look for something so I can put those little children on there. I want to put the little children on. I don't know, a child might fit on these. Little journaling cards. So we have options. We have plenty of options. And then we start with this master board. And these little tags. So many options. My goodness, how many master boards did we make that day? A whole big bunch of them. There's more finished pieces down here too. There's that lady. I forgot, I do have the digitals that are colored. So I do have those ladies too. And then these are for the other journal. Cool. All right. I love it when I find pre-made ephemera, like, you know, that I made a long time ago that I had forgotten about. It's like bonus. It's like free ephemera. It does change the game. It does. All right. So let's cut out some images. I know I want to use the children, so let me just go grab those, unless they're destroying something else, which, oh, they are destroying something else. What are they destroying? I don't know that I would have used the back of her anyway, so we're good. We can cut them out. It's a Christmas journal and I want little children in it. Yep, I'm just messily cutting them out. I gotta get in there. Okay, we did it. Chopped off a little over here. We're good. Okay. So then I'm just gonna cut these guys out. I am so sore. I feel like I moved. My body is very tired today. So with these ones, I'm going to cut them out, but not super, super close. I don't know. We'll see. I love their clothes. They have such fancy clothes, even for children, you know. Did children in Victorian times not get to play? Because they don't look like they would be playing in any of the clothes I've ever seen them wearing. I think they were pretty much expected to be adults from the time they were a baby. And I think a lot of them were sent to, well, later they were sent to boarding schools. In this day and age, they would probably have, you know, like a teacher come in the home and teach them. The nanny kind of job. Okay. I think I should go back and make a digital of just the little children. They're really cute. A governess, that's the word. A governess to come and teach them and babysit them and take care of them so that their mom and their dad really could only see them for like an hour or two in the afternoon after tea. That's how they had it. What an interesting life they had. And I'm just going to cut his little stick off. Her little stick off. Yeah, what an interesting life though. They would have their children brought to them for only an hour or so in the afternoon, after afternoon tea. A nanny governess would bring them their children so that they could say that they saw their children that day, I guess. I don't know. They certainly didn't seem to spend very much time with them. And yet the children, I guess, turned out okay. I don't know. Okay, so there's her. And let's cut this little girl out. I thought there was a little girl and boy, but it is two little girls. How do you guys like the scissors from Costco? Those of you that got scissors from Costco with me, how many, did you like them? Did you think that they were, I mean, I know that they're not like the best scissors, but did you think that they were nice scissors? I really have been enjoying them. I'm using mine right now. Everything I've cut has not stuck to them. It's been really nice. I like the Tim Holtz ones too, but they're for different purposes. For paper, I really like what we have with the Costco ones. And her skirt is ruffly. She's got really cute little boots on. Yeah, so I have a little Christmas shopping still to do. I'll try to finish up that this weekend. I can't go out and shop this weekend, but I can at least get some things online while I'm laying in bed before I fall asleep. And then I'll have to go out at some point after I get all your guys' packing and shipping Thursday, I believe. I will be able to do some errands and go out and finish up my physical in-person shopping. And then we're in the home stretch. All your stuff will be shipped, unless I have a sale next week, but all your stuff will be shipped. And be in the home stretch, can get everything wrapped and put under the tree, and then hopefully have a good, 2 or 3 days to just watch Christmas movies on the couch. That's my goal. That's my goal, is I just want some downtime of watching Christmas movies on the couch. I know it seems boring, but I would like some downtime there. Yeah, both of those. And I was pretty fussy with it. I started out not being fussy, and then I became more fussy with my cutting. Okay. Your recoils, yeah. Yeah, seen and not heard. Exactly, Lisa Maria. Awesome, Carol. It'll be a little video. I'll come on and do a little video. And I'll make sure I tell you guys for sure. I wish we were able to share our journals as we go on this chat. Well, you can share them in the Facebook group, Gary. That's what the Facebook group's for. Well, I mean, it's for many things, but it's definitely for you guys to share your work. So just putting these little children on something like that. See how sweet that is? Like, it's just so simple, but yet so adorable. So simple, but yet so adorable. So just like the Italian paper changed the game, so did these little French fashion magazines. I've really been enjoying playing with them. So just, I could make these into tags. They could stay journal cards. They're super cute. I really like both of those just as they are. I don't know that we need more color. Maybe we do. I really liked that one. I thought it was sweet. They fit pretty much perfectly on those. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and put them on them and not, I like this one because, it's like she's walking in the grass. It's like she's walking in the grass. So if I made them into tags, I think I'm just going to leave them as journal cards, because if I try to make them into tags and put a hole reinforcer, they don't fit on here. So I'm going to leave those two as journal cards, which is the size that I cut the masterboard into anyway. Okay, let's put these on. And then, I don't know. Maybe we'll be done after we put these on. I want to show you the journal, like, as we have the cover, and I'll put the signature in the cover just so you guys get an idea. And then we'll be good. I love it. It's so cute. It's simple, but it's so cute. Glue. I don't want a chunk of glue underneath of her. Poor thing. And you're going to be walking in the grass. Oop, nope, don't roll your hand up. There we go. There's those two. I love them. I think they're super sweet. So we've made 2 journal cards. Let me ink around these things because otherwise I forget. And then I have to sit and spend like an hour inking around things. And I don't like it. I don't like to ink around things to begin with. I think you have to be really careful. Otherwise it makes them look dirty. So everything that I did is backed with coffee dyed paper because I made my master board on a 12 by 12 sheet of coffee dyed cardstock. So I didn't have to back anything because I made my master board where it was already on coffee dyed cardstock. So that was great. I didn't have to add any extra steps to my work. So if you have some white cardstock, go ahead and give it a coffee dye, and then everything will instantly be done for you. I have more to ink. Where did the other ones go? Oh, they're under the mat. Like, I know there were more. Where are they? They're under the mat. We inked that one. We need to ink these 2. This top corner really needs inked. And I didn't thumb hole punch this guy. So we'll need to do that. When you put them under your mat, they certainly don't dry. Not very fast anyway. So that guy needs a thumb notch, and he's very wet. And then this one. This one is inked. Really need a new blending foam. Okay, so let me thumb hole notch this one. For some reason it didn't scroll up. I can't do the Tim Holtz scissors. They hurt my hands and they're serrated, and that is not good for fussy cutting. Okay. The serration adds an unneeded tension and unneeded difficulty to squeeze. And for my hands, I cannot do it, especially long term. Like, I can cut some, little bit of time with them. But what I use the Tim Holtz ones for mostly are for like cutting up crochet doilies or something where there's something thick and you have to chomp through it. So for ephemera that we made today, and we didn't finish it, like they all need a little further embellishing, but this is what we made today. We made 3 pockets and 2 journal cards. The children, I might honestly, they might need one tiny little thing, but I love them just the way they are. All of these pieces, she might be okay, but I think she does need a little something over here. This one definitely needs something over here, and same here. And I have the little Christmas labels that are right here, and yeah, we probably should just finish it, but I don't want to spend an hour doing it. So let's see what we have that's already like cut out and ready to go. There's a little Christmas greetings and some stockings. This one, it's just a little hearth, but none of those are going to go there. These ones are from Vintage Studio 717. These little labels. So If you want to have some vintage looking Christmas labels, Vintage Studio 717. I have used these every Christmas since I got this digital because I like it that much. They're just like the perfect font styles and stuff like that for my time frame that I generally stay in with Christmas. I don't use them with a more modern Christmas. These are more like antique kind of images and labels. So there's that guy. I think he's going to go there. And then I would like to put a little poinsettia, maybe on both of these. We'll see. Depends on if I'm going to put them both in the same journal. But that can go like that. And then she does need something, but I don't think I want any of those for her. Maybe even something that is more linear right here. So we'll save that. We'll see what we come up with. But I can glue these ones down. And then I do have, and so in this project, this Victorian project, the photos, they're from different time frames, but a lot of the people, like either the photos or the paper dolls, they often are dressed in Victorian clothes. And even in this little ephemera pack where I wouldn't use this, I would definitely use some of the Victorian themed ephemera that's in here. So I will probably use some pieces just to finish off stuff that we've already made. But in general, these are for those magic cover journals that we just sold the other night. And then, of course, there's the words. So, you know, when I saved the strips of paper that I cut off, these little words are perfect for gluing on those little strips. And then you can glue that whole big thing to something else. But this is his sticker book, and he's got a couple little sheets of different kind of things in there. So those are in for here or for a different project or whatever. Let me get these inked and glued. Maybe an oval wax seal beside the lady with maybe. I don't put wax seals in my journals, and I will tell you why. Because I live in Arizona, and if that journal is left in a car, like if you put it in a bag, like your backpack, your bag, whatever, and you leave your journal out in the sun or in a car, those wax seals are going to melt and they are going to get all over your papers. They're going to go through that wax will go through like 8 pages as it melts. It will totally ruin a journal. So I do not use wax seals in my journals unless they are done with not wax. There are ways of doing them with colored glue sticks where it's hot glue. It is not wax. I know you can put wax sticks in a hot glue gun. That's not what I'm talking about. The only wax seals I will put in a journal are made from not wax. They are made from hot glue. So that's an option, but just be careful. If you're selling your journals, you got to think of all the things, right? Because you don't know where your journal's going to be. You don't know where your journal's going to be going. You don't know where it's going to end up in the end. And I would hate for somebody to take a journal on a vacation somewhere warm and then, oh, not only did it make a mess in my journal, it made a mess in my bag, in my car seat, wherever, Like, you just got to think of all of the different things. You don't want, somebody to come back and say, oh, beautiful journal, but everything melted and made a huge mess. I keep scooting it over. So that one went right there. And then I do think we should put like a little flower right up in this area. And Tim Holtz has some little poinsettia flowers, but I know I have some in the bin up in the closet. And this one, and at least we put some labels on here. See, now I don't like it there. I've rearranged it. I'm not in love with it there. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. We need it on top of the little Victorian thing. The Victorian scrap, I need it overlapping it. And there we go. Yes, I was very fussy with that one. Okay. I think we're going to leave our ephemera here. So I will try to find something linear for her. I love these two. I love these two. They're beautiful little journal cards. I have this one, which I'll find something linear for. I mean, she's a pocket, so you also got to consider she'll be on a page and she'll have something, you know, tucked in her. So she's probably fine in all honesty. And then there's this pocket. And then there's this pocket. And that's what we have. What? Oh, it's a piece of paper. I'm like, does he have a crack in him? No, it's a piece of paper. So those need pressed, and then those can go in that pile. For the journal cover, we ended up here. Let me grab that. I ended up here. And it's still a little wet, not too bad. Get some fuzzies out of it. I'll go ahead and fold it. It's beautiful. I love it. I love the frayed look. And then where's the signature? Right here. This is our signature. It will go in there. Beautiful. Very beautiful. Looking good. Now, if your signature is too fat, so nothing is sticking out. Nothing is sticking out right here. Nothing. But it is a little too close for my liking right here at the edge. Reason being is we've added a lot of things to our paper. And as you add things to your signature, it pushes the pages in the center out more and more. And to be honest, the straw paper is not cut to the correct size. When you order it, it comes just kind of cut into random sheets. It's not cut straight and it is sticking out. So the straw paper for certain needs to be cut because it's the thing that's sticking out the most. But I might trim a little tiny bit off right here just to make sure that when I have this in here, it doesn't end up going over. I mean, it's not, but I'm going to cut the straw paper and I might trim a couple other pages right there just to be sure. So that's the only thing. And then we're going to have that in here. So you're going to open up. I'll have a pocket right here, a fabric lacy pocket. And then my signature will be in there. Our signature looks like this so far. There's some Christmas pages and some non-Christmas pages. I really think it's a beautiful signature. Has lots of fun little things inside of it. Lots of writing space, lots of places to put, you know, little ephemera. Whoever gets this journal will have plenty of places to, you know, work in it, you know, after they get it. So this will be glued in there, or not glued in, but tucked in there. Like that. This is going to need a nice pocket right here. So, you know, I mean, I could have already just started placing things, but that one actually looks really beautiful right there. Like we could just stick things in right now, but that one looks really beautiful right there. It's going to be a great journal. In my Christmas journals, I always do a lot of fancy work in them. And this straw paper needs cut. And things need lined up again, but it's going to be great. I love it. And that's the center. And then we just work backwards from there, you know, same thing. And this is a flip out. We'll put a little tab on it. I'll use Florentine paper for the tabs, just putting them on cardstock. So we have some beautiful people in here. This is kind of why I'm using a lot of ladies. I do enjoy using the ladies in the journals. So that's that, and that's what it's going to look like. That's where we're at so far. We did a pretty good job. We've got, you know, we're just, all I need to do is sew around it sewing that pocket in and then sewing in the signature. But we have a lot of ephemera already made too. So we're really pretty good. We should be able to wrap this up. Like if I was just working on this, not doing videos, I literally could wrap this up this weekend. But because I don't work on it except for when we're live, at least that's the plan. I will be here next Friday for Craft With Me, and we'll pick up where we left off. When I come next Friday, it'll be sewn around. It'll have a pocket. I might sew in the signature. And then from there, we're really just making ephemera and gluing in ephemera. And it's really not that hard to make journals. On the cover, I'm going to put some kind of beautiful image, probably a Victorian lady or a Victorian Christmas scene, like Christmas tree and family or something like that on the cover. And there'll be a bunch of lacy stuff behind it, obviously. But that's where we're at. It looks pretty good. I really like it. I'm just going to go ahead and stick all these in here in my center. That kind of also helps flatten them. And if you ever, if you don't have a tie on your journal, a closure on your journal. You guys know I'm into my rubber bands lately. There we go. There's a closure for today. And we still have pockets to decorate. We still have all of this masterboard yumminess to play with. And you guys know I will probably end up making more. But this is all undecorated to do. If you ever want to craft and you just want to sit down and you want to do something, but you don't know what you want to do, glue rag paper book pages together and cut them down to size for journal cards or pockets or whatever you want to play with them with. Tags even. So that's that. What do you guys think? Craft With Me on Fridays is always at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Throughout Christmas break, I will just be popping on randomly. So Christmas break for me starts after I finish shipping all of you guys' stuff. So Wednesday, unless I sell the week after that, which, I may or may not. Let me flip the camera back around so I can say my goodbyes. But Christmas break for me, it's a little later this year than it probably should have been. But I will be popping on throughout Christmas break. And Christmas break, I know I've got all kinds of lint and glue, string, everything. Christmas break for me, I will still be coming on and crafting. I just won't be having live sales during the Christmas break. I have a lot of projects here involving live sales that I need to get finished before I come back on, because live sales in 2025 are completely different than they have been in the past. So there's new selling platforms, there's everything. So I need to get everything done here over Christmas break so that when I come back, we're more organized. We're bringing on new people, all of that kind of stuff. So I know I will be gone for a while for Christmas break. Definitely into the new year. Mid-January is what I'm aiming for. It may even be later. We'll have to see. Might be earlier, might be later. I have no idea. I need to get through it and get it done first. But I will be on throughout the entire time I'm gone, crafting. Not selling, but crafting. And so Craft With Me's right now are scheduled for Fridays at 7 p.m. But on Christmas break, it'll just be random days, random times. I might come on in the morning. I might come on in the afternoon. I might come on middle of the night. Probably not, but it might happen. I will schedule the Craft With Me's as much as I can, but there might be a time where I just turn on the camera because I want to work on something. I want to do a project and I'll just turn the camera on and whoever joins me, joins me. So if you're subscribed to the channel, it is supposed to send you a notification. I will always post on my Facebook page that I am going to turn the camera on too. So if you follow my Facebook page, or you follow me, or you're friends with me, or you're in the group, or you subscribe to the channel, you should get notified. And then if you do happen to miss any of those videos, they all stay up on my channel forever. So if you miss it, there'll be one there. He still has a fever, and he went to the doctor last week, and the doctor said to take him back to the hospital, and they needed to give him more IV antibiotics. So he has had a fever for 8.5 months, I think, 8.5 months straight. They don't know what's wrong with him. You guys know that. We've been through this whole thing. The only time he hasn't had a fever was when he was in the hospital as an inpatient with IV antibiotics. When he was there, he didn't have a fever. When he came home, he didn't have a fever for a week after he came home, and then the fever came back. And he's been on antibiotic pills the entire time, but obviously they're not working. They still trying to find a location to do his bone marrow biopsy. Most of the locations will not take him as a patient, and so we're trying to find a place for that to happen at. And then he has a rheumatology appointment scheduled for the end of January so that we can see if it is autoimmune, because every time we go to the doctor, every doctor just tells us to go to a different doctor. The bone marrow guy, he's a hematologist oncologist, and the reason why they want to look at the bone marrow is because people that have fevers for this long might have leukemia or lymphoma, and he does have some swollen lymph nodes up in his neck area. And he also has the cancer doctor did a different kind of a test, a blood test, and it will show some kind of marker. And that one has been elevated the entire time. It's not super elevated, it's just slightly elevated. So that's why they want to do bone marrow. But my son doesn't want to do bone marrow. I don't want him to have it done unless he needs it, because he has other health conditions, which is why it is hard to find a location who will take him. And so that is proving to be very difficult. Obviously, if we need to do it, we're going to do it. But that's where that's at. We were hoping to wait until the end of January and see the rheumatologist, because maybe the rheumatologist will give us an answer and say he doesn't need to do the bone marrow. But at this point, he's been waiting for 8.5 months for something to happen. And we keep going to the doctor, and all the doctors, even the specialists, will say, I don't really think it's me. I don't really think that this falls in my purview. I think that it is a different kind of specialist. Like, have you been, like, when we were at the cancer doctor, he's like, well, have you been to the rheumatologist? We're like, no, we have an appointment scheduled. And he's like, well, I would go to the rheumatologist. And I'm like, well, are you telling me I should wait on the bone marrow and go to the rheumatologist? He's like, no, I can't tell you should wait on the bone marrow because it might be cancer. So I'm not sure exactly which direction we're supposed to go. And every time they send us in a different direction, it does take a long time to get an appointment. So for now, he's stable. He doesn't feel good. He's really, really not feeling well. But then they added what is the gastroenterologist doctor. So now we have to have an appointment with that one because they want to look at stuff up there and like scope in and out. And it's just like, I don't know. They don't know. So, and they know he's really sick. And I think a lot of what's happening is they know how sick he is. And they know people that have had a fever for 8.5 months, the longer you have that fever, the lower the mortality rate increases the longer you have a fever. So none of the doctors want to take him on as a patient because they know how sick he is, and they don't want a patient who might pass away. And we don't really think that's going to happen. We hope. He's 26 years old. But it's just hard because I think that's why they want to send us somewhere else every single time we go. Even his primary care doctor is like, he's dotting his I's and crossing his T's as much as he can. He still makes mistakes everywhere, but I've seen him change and be much more looking at things from a legal aspect rather than looking at things just trying to help him. So it's kind of getting into like nobody really wants to help him. And so ultimately, if we cannot find answers, and I've said this before, I will end up taking him to the Mayo Clinic. We didn't want to take him back to the ER now because when they did his white cell count at the doctor's office, it was almost normal. His white cell count was basically within normal limits, just slightly elevated, just very, very slightly, like a couple of tenths of a percentage. And so that's the first time he's ever had basically a normal white cell count the entire time. And I'm like, well, are they going to admit him because you said to take him back to the ER to give him more IV antibiotics for an infection. Nobody can find an infection. And if his white cell count is basically normal, how would they admit him? Because, they don't just admit people. They, only will admit for certain things. And I'm like, so how are they going to admit him? And the primary care is like, no, they will admit him because he failed outpatient treatment. And I'm like, I don't think they're going to keep him. I don't think they are. I've taken him 3 times. Out of 3 times, they've admitted him once and they sent him home 2 other times. So I don't think they're going to keep him. But anyway, that's where that's at. It's just very frustrating. He's very, very sick. He is. He really cannot function at all. And it's very sad. But I don't know what to do because nobody will really. Every time we take him to a doctor, they're just like, well, we could do this or we could do that. But, have you seen this doctor? Because I really think maybe it's this doctor. And I'm, okay, well, we'll go there. And then that doctor's like, oh, no, I think it's this doctor. It's just very frustrating. More frustrating for him, I'm quite certain. But he is in he's in good spirits, and he has a couple of hours. Some days it's literally an hour and a half that he can be awake and do something that he wanted to do, like not physically do something, but go online and look at something he wanted to do for an hour and a half. And other days he gets like 4 or 5 hours. It just depends on how well he feels, how long he can stay awake. He's very tired. Process of elimination, but it's process of elimination not based off what you or I would do or you or I would think would be okay. It's process of elimination, and then what the insurance will pay for and what doctors are in the network that you can go see and what facilities are in network. And, oh, well, we'd like to have this test done, but your insurance doesn't cover it, or we can't find a facility to do the test because your son has X, Y, and Z conditions and they won't take him with those. And so it's just been very, very frustrating. Very frustrating. Yep. That's exactly how it is. But I'm sorry for everyone else who's ever had to go through something like that, because it is very frustrating. But eventually, I am confident we will find an answer, whatever that answer is, and get it taken care of. It might be something where it is like an autoimmune thing where, maybe this is going to be kind of how it is. We just need to know that, so then we can get whatever kind of help he needs set up. Like if I need to get a hospital bed in here or something like that, like whatever we need to do, we just need to know what direction we need to go in. That's all. But it's Christmas and we're just trying to get through Christmas. Obviously, his health is obviously the number one priority, but nobody wants to be in the hospital at Christmas either. So I understand him not wanting to go. But that's where we're at. Anyway, I did want to say quickly, I don't know if these people are here, but let me see if I can reach without. Quickly, I will show you. This card was sent to me. This little Happy Thanksgiving card. Let me show it where you can see it. Right. I don't know. I'm trying to show you without glare or anything. This little Happy Thanksgiving card was sent to me from Diana B from our live sale group. Diana B sent me a Happy Thanksgiving card. It's beautiful. She's got a beautiful die cut leaf on top of this organic background. And she's got a little label down here with some frayed cloth. That was beautiful, Diana B. Thank you so much. And then this one came from Sandy Reyes. This little beautiful Thanksgiving card came from Sandy Reyes. This is awesome. I love this card. It's beautiful. They're both so beautiful. So those two arrived for Thanksgiving. Thank you guys so much. I love that. And then I'm going to be sending out Christmas cards. I'm hoping to get them out Wednesday, Thursday of next week. They'll still arrive in time, but Wednesday, Thursday next week, I'll send out some Christmas cards. They are beautiful. Thank you guys for sending them, Sandy and Diana B. Appreciate it. If you watch this video, appreciate it very much. I'll have to show them again in the live sale Tuesday, maybe. If I'm doing a live sale on Tuesday, I don't know for sure if I am, but if I am, hopefully. So I tried to do a card exchange, but every time I try to do something, there's just some people that have to ruin it. And so we are not going to do a card exchange like I was originally planning. However, there is nothing stopping you guys from sending each other cards. Nothing stopping you guys at all. So, the Facebook group, you know, you have Facebook Messenger, you guys can all work all that out. I'm going to be sending cards, but that doesn't, you know, it doesn't mean you have to send me one back, obviously. I just wanted to send Christmas cards, and I got some beautiful, I did not hand make them, I will be honest. I got some beautiful pre-made Anna Griffin cards. So they look handmade. Anna Griffin stuff is beautiful, and those are the Christmas cards I'm sending. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. You go enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Get all your Christmassy fun things in. I don't know if you're looking at lights or decorating the tree or shopping or wrapping presents or whatever you're doing. Go enjoy the weekend, and I will see you guys back here maybe on Monday, Tuesday. We'll see. I'm hoping for Tuesday. We'll see. I will post it in advance if it is going to happen. If it doesn't happen, then I will see you next Friday for Craft with Me. So if it doesn't happen, then my sales are over for the rest of the year. If it does happen, I'll be on Tuesday. We'll see. All right, guys, have a good weekend. Thanks for joining Craft with Me. Get to work on those journals and that ephemera too. Bye, guys. We'll see you again soon.